For months, this colony looked like it was doing absolutely nothing. A worker here, a tiny bit of brood there, the occasional bit of food disappearing just to prove that they were still in fact alive. And every single day I would lean in, stare at a test tube and think, is that it? That was it. 9 months ago, I bought my first ever ant colony. A queen, a few workers, a tiny pile of brood, and what I can only describe as the most ambitious name to activity ratio in the history of ant keeping. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Morticia and the Garden Warriors. They were not gardening, they were barely warrowing, they were mostly just in a tube. But here we are 9 months later, and I have a story to tell you. So, September 2025, I buy this colony from Ant Farm Supplies. A Lasius niger queen named Morticia. Well, I named her Morticia. Already with 3 workers and some brood. Not starting from scratch, not a lone queen waiting for her time, she'd already begun. And I, with absolutely zero ant keeping experience and a disproportionate amount of enthusiasm, immediately made my first mistake. I bought her a founding nest. Now, in my defence, it was a lovely little nest. Small, dark, cosy, practical. Perfect for a founding colony. She hated it. Not in dramatic workers writing in the ant world kind of way, she simply ignored it completely. Did not move in, did not investigate, did not send a single scout to see if there was carpet at a nice pile. Nothing. And that is something I genuinely did not expect, because when you are new to this hobby, you assume ants want what you want. You think, I would love a fresh new home. Surely they would love that too. But founding colonies, small ones, new ones, uncertain ones, do not want fresh and new, they want boring and safe. A test tube is dark, it is compact, it is everything they need within a few millimetres. It is essentially the world's most efficient bedsit, terrible for guests, perfect for ants. And so they stayed in the tube for a very long time. Which brings me to the part of ant keeping that nobody quite prepares you for, the waiting. I want to be honest with you because I think it helps. In those early weeks I was checking this colony every single day, and every day I would do the same thing. Lean in, look for a moment, see approximately 2 workers, look for brood, see approximately the same brood I saw yesterday, wonder if something was wrong, nothing was wrong, this is the trap begins to fall into. And I fell into it face first, with my whole body. You see other people's ant videos online, massive colonies, workers everywhere, brood piles the size of a walnut, an entire ant civilization with apparently functioning infrastructure, and then you look at your own colony and go, are you okay? Is this normal? Should I be doing something? Should I change the food? Should I add heat? Should I move them? Should I? They're fine, they're just small. And here's the thing I missed entirely. I bought this colony in September in the UK, which means I bought a small Lasius niger colony roughly 4 to 6 weeks before they were going to slow down for winter. I was expecting explosive spring growth in autumn. I was essentially buying a sports car and wondering why it was not going fast while it was parked in the garage. They fed, they took sugar, they took protein, but lightly, always lightly. A few workers doing a few things, moving a few crumbs, and then going back inside because honestly, what else was there to do? Before diapause, they grew from 3 workers to around about 8. 8. I'm not going to pretend that felt exciting at the time, it didn't. It felt like a lot of staring at a tube for not very much. But here's what I know now that I did not know then. 8 healthy workers and an active queen and a stable brood pile going into winter is not a failing colony. It is a colony that is doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is apparently very little, visibly. So November, they go into diapause. Now, if you are new to keeping temperate ant species, let me explain what this means because it sounds more scientific than it is. You put your ants in the fridge. There it is. You put your ants in the fridge for several months and then you take them out again. Now, it's not that simple. You basically need to put them into a cooler area, but just for simplicity, I'm saying fridge, okay, before anyone shoots me. And I know that sounds absurd. I know the first time you do it, you open the fridge door, look at this tiny colony you have spent weeks caring for, and something inside you says, are you absolutely sure about this? This feels like a crime. But for Lasius niger, a UK native species that would naturally overwinter underground, that cold pause is not a problem, it is a necessity. The whole biology is built around it. So they went in November, 8 workers, Morticia, a quiet little brood pile, and from November to February, I basically had no ant colony. I had a test tube in a fridge, which again is a sentence I never expected to say, but this is the thing about diapause that beginners find hard to sit with. It is not just that you cannot see progress, it is that progress is not supposed to be happening. You are not waiting for growth, you are waiting for spring, and spring, as anyone who lives in the UK knows, does not exactly rush. Then we get up February, time to bring them out. I check the setup and immediately know something has gone wrong. Water in the test tube, everywhere it should not be. The connected test tube setup, two tubes linked by a connector, had flooded. Cotton failure, thermal expansion, the specific cruelty of the universe, I honestly do not know. What I know is that when I found them, the colony had retreated into the portal section, pressed together in the one dry corner they could find. And some of the workers were in the water. Look, I did not film this and I want to explain why, because I know this channel is about sharing the journey, but in that moment, the camera was not the priority. The ants were the priority. So I moved quickly, picked the workers out, dried the setup, got them somewhere safe, and miraculously, every single one of them recovered. As far as I could tell, no confirmed losses, which is incredible because in the moment it looked like a disaster. But here is where the real mistake actually happened, because I had just survived a minor emergency, and after a minor emergency, your brain does this very helpful thing where it says, you need to fix this, you need a better solution, you need something bigger, nicer, more impressive. So I moved them into a setup that was just too large. Combo nest and outworld that would have been absolutely fine for a colony 3 to 4 times their size. Great setup, just wrong colony. And I knew in that moment, the second I saw them in it, that something was wrong. So have you ever bought something you were really excited about, assembled it, stood back to admire it, and then quietly, privately, with no witnesses, realized it was completely wrong? That is what happened. The colony looked tiny, lost. Little Morticia and her 8 warriors had been given a football stadium to live in and were just standing in the middle of it, looking confused. More space is not always better. Not for a small colony anyway. It was a rough time, to be honest, when I really think back to it, but hey. So I made the call. I needed to move them again. Which, to be clear, is not a sentence you want to say twice in 1 week, because that's just added stress for the colony. So I moved them into an adamant's foundation setup. Small, low ceiling nest, attached outworld, nothing fancy, nothing impressive, just a compact, sensible, lovely little home. And this is the part of the story I want you to pay attention to, because within a fairly short time of being in that setup, something changed. Not dramatically at first, not all at once, but the brood pile grew. Larvae that had been quietly developing through diapause started to show real progress. And then one day I looked in there and there were pupae, actual pupae, plural. I will not pretend I did not react to this. I absolutely reacted to this. I may have made a noise that my wife found difficult to explain. Because this is the moment, this is the payoff you are waiting for as a keeper. Not just more workers, but watching the whole brood cycle click into place. Larvae, pupae, workers are closing. The colony doing the thing it is supposed to do in the right space at the right time. Pupae sitting, finally. Here is the colony today, from 3 workers when I bought them, to 8 before diapause, and now roughly 30 workers. And yes, I know 30 workers is not 1,000 workers, 30 workers is not a heaving, unstoppable ant empire. If you've been keeping ants for years and your current colony has 30 workers, you are probably reading that number and thinking, a founding colony. But I started with 3. And I started in September heading into winter. And there was a flood and I made a mistake, and 30 workers, a healthy brood pile and a stable colony feels to me like an enormous amount of progress. I want to finish on something that might sound very simple, but took me most of these 9 months to actually understand. If your Lasius niger colony is quiet, slow, or seemingly doing nothing, it is probably fine. Not definitely, not always. Check the obvious things. Is there brood? Are they stable? Are they accepting food? Is the setup right for their size? Are they behaving like a colony under stress? Frantic, escaping, ignoring food entirely? Or are they just quiet? Because quiet is different from wrong. A founding colony late in the season, heading towards winter, is supposed to be slow. A colony in diapause is supposed to be stopped. And a colony with 30 workers in a compact, secure nest may not feel the need to put on a show every time you lean in with a camera. The biggest thing this colony taught me is not a feeding schedule, or the perfect humidity level, or the ideal temperature range. It is this. Stop fixing things that are not broken. Observe first, act second, and when in doubt, leave them alone. Which, as a hobby, that involves a lot of buying things and making adjustments and optimizing setups, is deeply inconvenient advice, but it is the most honest thing I have learned. Morticia and the Garden Warriors are not my fastest colony. They are not my most dramatic colony. They are not the colony that keeps me up at night wondering what on earth they are doing. They are the colony that started everything. They are the colony that made ant keeping real for me. Not as a concept, not as something I watched on YouTube, but an actual living, breathing, occasionally flooded, occasionally panic moved, occasionally sitting completely still responsibility. And looking back at 9 months of slow progress, quiet brood development, diapause, mistakes, and eventually pupae city, I would not change any of it. Except the oversized setup, I would change that. That was generally not my best work. So let me know in the comments what stage your colony is at right now. Queen only, first workers, tiny founding colony, or have you finally hit pupae city as well? And if you have been keeping Lasius niger for longer than I have, which frankly is most of you, I would love to know what the next stage looked like for you. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Let's make it Antastic. Farewell.